Mad random. Mad random. I had no intention of doing this. I literally just got in my driveway from work. I just had an epiphany while driving home. For context, I've always been a pretty calm, composed person. Like, that's not all there is to my personality, because as I've said before, I'm definitely screws loose ain't even a thing. I have screws gone, you know, but I'm multifaceted, you know. I got a part of me that's, you know, strictly extroverted and a partier and things like that, but I've never been one who's been taken out of my character. I've always been calm, collected. My mother said that I never even kicked when she was pregnant with me. Like, and she was looking forward to it so much. Like, I was just too chilled out. I say this to say, in the past 5 years, I started dealing with, like, really bad stomach issues and, like, a lot of different symptoms of, like, chronic stress, which baffled me. I mean, obviously, anybody who actually knows me and, like, has looked into my life, they look at me, they're like, what are you talking about? Why are you so confused? Do you not see what you got going on around you? But I guess it confused me because within myself, there was no need to stress, even if my circumstances might be circumstances that would cause stress in somebody. I'll say this to say, my vacation had highlighted something crazy for me, because I got a glimpse of it last year in October. I went on a cruise, so I flew down to Miami for a day. I was in Miami for a day, and then I got on a cruise from there. And I got a glimpse of it there on that trip, where it was like I was a whole different person. But it didn't feel like I was a different person. It felt like I was finally myself. And that's not for me to say that Miami brought out the best in me. That's not what it was. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, what is it that's got me like in this energy where I'm so embodied? Like, I'm embodying my character and my personality in ways I never, like, I've always dreamed of. I'm embodying my energy, you know. Like, I could feel every single ounce of energy coursing through my veins. Like, what is it that has prompted such a change so quickly and let it leave just as quick when I came back home? And it messed my head up. I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And then I went on this trip to the West Indies to go meet some family. And I felt it tenfold. Because now I was now I was in a space where I was actually around energy I resonated with 110%. But then it clicked just now on my drive home from work. Because my body was completely untensed. Like, I was drinking every day, because I'm not gonna lie, everybody I was with out there, they just drink all the time. Like, a lot of them just drink all the time, but it's not like a problem. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, we just drink all the time, but we also eat really good. We eat really healthy. We drink a lot of water. We take care of ourselves, mind, body, and spirit. So it's like, man, like, of course I'm gonna drink every day, because I mean, do you see these palm trees? You see this water, man? Of course I'm gonna be having a good time. Like, I don't know, it makes sense. It makes sense. But I was over here, like, thinking to myself, oh man, drinking this much, like, you know, I'm slacking on my diet, man. Like, I might, I was shredded the entire time. No bloated, no nothing. I was shredded. And that could go into a whole nother conversation about the food in this country, but I'm not even gonna delve into that. I'm saying that to say, it clicked in my head. I still do not have my own place yet, in the physical. And it clicked in my head that what it was when I was on these trips was I wasn't going back to a space that I felt was not mine. And the reason that's so big for me is because I consider myself to be a very respectful person. And so the good and bad thing about that is it's good to be respectful, because what you give is what you get, even if it's not in that immediate moment. However, in situations like living with family or living with, a guardian, or living with friends, that are doing you a favor, whatever, you feel like you gotta walk with your tail between your legs all the time, because it's not something that you built for yourself. At least this is my feeling. And I'm not someone who walks with their tail between their legs in any way, shape, or form. And it became a major problem for me as I got older, because my grandfather had this saying, especially for the men in his household, his sons when they were growing up, my uncles, called smelling yourself. Like, as they were coming into their self, as they were growing into adulthood, like he said, they get to a point where they start smelling themselves, like pretty much feeling yourself, like, oh, you think you're a big man now. And I always tried to never come across that way, because I didn't want to disrespect, especially the man in my household. I didn't want to disrespect. I didn't want, my mother to feel like I was, growing into myself, and now I was just becoming some blasphemous son. Like, I was trying to be very cognizant of these things. And as I got older and older, as I matured more and more, as I went through more and more and learned from the things that I went through, it became something that I literally could not hide. My energy and my power, I mean. It became something that I could not hide. The only way I could would be at a detriment to myself, which is what I chose to do. Because at the time, I believed that was the only option. Even more so in my last relationship, because not because I was told to, but just because a lot of times we do in relationships what we're accustomed to growing up. And I had seen that dynamic play out as well, which is probably another reason why, I thought that was okay, or I thought that was what you were supposed to do, even though it didn't feel right. I didn't feel like I was in alignment while doing that. I thought I could take the energy that I got when I was in the West Indies. I thought I could take it and be like, okay, all I needed was to feel it. And now that I felt it, I know that it's real. I know that it's tangible. I know it's something that, like, I'm not trying to be a doubting Thomas, but I can say for a fact it exists, and it exists in me. They didn't give that to me. They helped me see it in myself. Beautiful. I feel it. I have it. Good. I could take this and I could bring it back with me. You know what I'm saying? And when I bring it back with me, I can apply it to what I reside in and make it just as beautiful as that was. And that is not how this worked. Because in a sense, I'm outnumbered here. And I guess I was trying to be optimistic. But as soon as I felt the shift, a little bit after I came back, it kind of hit for me. I was like, oh, I see. There's nothing I can really do about this. aside from leave it. 10:01. Aside from leave it. This is gonna be probably one of the shortest videos because I'm saying this to say you yourself may be, not maybe, you yourself are a king. You are a queen. To be a king or a queen energetically and still have to have that humbling experience of waking up in a circus, waking up in a junkyard, waking up in a whatever that is not a palace, you know. And I don't mean in the material sense. Like, it could be gorgeous where you're at physically, but if it's not of that energy that I'm talking about, it could rip your energy to shreds if you let it. But there's a level of mental fortitude. It's a nice balance, because I say mental fortitude, and at one point in time I attributed that to a fortress, you know. But that's not the key either, because you have to have a balance of knowing when to stand firm and knowing when to lean back and, you know, let go and be open, you know. To be rigid is to be weak. To be rigid and stiff is to be weak. This is a weird analogy, but I'd gotten into a car accident when I was like 18. I hadn't slept in over a week. It was a very interesting time for me. I was on my way to go pick up my mother. I wasn't blacking out, but I was having like brownouts. Like, I was blinking and like more time was passing than a blink. And one of the times I came to, and I was a little off the road a little bit. I went to go back to the middle of the road. I hit a massive pothole that was close to the edge of the road. Took the car. I went like 2 feet in the air. Like, I went into a 2.5 foot ditch. Airbags come down and everything. But even with everything I was going through back then, like the things that I was going through then, I wasn't letting them consume and control me yet, to the point where I was becoming stiff. So in that accident, I remember being told, there was an off-duty police officer behind me. He was like, you know, I could tell like your body was relaxed. It's a good thing that you didn't tense up, because you could have caused yourself a lot more damage. I've seen people get into the same accident right here on this road, and it did not go well for them. It didn't go well for them at all. To be rigid is to be weak. To be stiff is to be weak. You gotta be like water. Which is funny as I'm saying this, as it's the rain is slowed down now, but I was on my way back home. Home stretch, last like 3-4 minutes of my drive, just pouring. I've been feeling really drawn to water though. Maybe y'all have too. I think I'm gonna cut this here. I'm just trying to go based off of my intuition. If I feel called to record something and post it, I'm gonna record it and post it. I do want to start approaching this not more seriously, but more passionately. I want to treat it with the respect that I feel it deserves. There's this YouTuber that I love. I've been watching her since like the beginning, pretty much, like since she first really started putting her all into her YouTube videos. Jadina. I mean, if you know, you know. But I think it was her last video or like 2 videos ago. She was panning the camera to one of her cats. She wasn't even trying to show anything else. And I noticed she had a massive whiteboard and it had notes all over the board, all covering, and it's showing like everything that I think it was her notes for the book that she's not the book she's writing, but the blueprint that she's making or something to that effect. And I saw it and I was like, you can't just do based off of what you see other people doing on the screen or out in the open, because people are doing so much behind the scenes. And you know, when you're being open and vulnerable, but you're also doing what is best for you and pursuing what you want to pursue with your all, you know, if you're being open with your life and different things like that, like it's going to show accidentally in different ways, just like it showed in that video. Like, you pan the camera over to your adorable cat, I see that you've been working so hard. And it put things into perspective for myself. You know, I do believe that I'm doing very well for myself as of right now. But I think that I could be doing more. Not in the sense of, you know, hustle culture or anything like that, but I want to shift my energy to focus towards different things. Because what I have it focused on right now to try to get me to where I want to be, it doesn't feel right anymore. It didn't feel right when I started, but I try to make it feel right, and it doesn't feel right. And I think that once it feels right is when the abundance is going to come in. It's when the peace is going to come in. It's going to be when my shoulders can drop and my jaw can unclench, you know. And furthermore, where I can get to a space where I can experience that energy that I felt over there and just live in that. Maybe by actually living over there. Yeah, man. Let me stop this video now, because I said this was going to be my shortest video, and we get into that point where it's about to not be. Travel is important. Drinking water is important. If you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling down on yourself, everything is ebb and flow, and every emotion is a part of the human experience. I'm glad that I'm starting to get more people watching. I'm very appreciative for every view that I get. I'm gonna get more comfortable with this as time goes by, but yeah, man, that's it. I'll talk to y'all when I talk to y'all, all right? Love.